It's Sunday, it's 6 p.m. It's the Sunday Swinger Show. Let's get into it. So how are you all doing? And welcome back to the Sunday Swinger Show. Last week, from these free trade setups we have given out, if you had taken all of those trades, total to 245%. So it pays to watch these streams. So what we're going to do is the usual. We're going to run through all of the section here on the right hand side of your screen in green here on YouTube, and then the rest over with our members at Pro Traders Lounge dashboard. So let's start off with the trade recap and how our trades went last week. So let's do it. So first, let's look at CRO. Last week on CRO, we're looking for coming down into that point of control, that value area low, and that 786 to look for a reaction. If we look at it, you can see 22% to the upside. You know, that's not taking any leverage into consideration. That is simply taking the trade on spot or with zero leverage and trading that up for a whopping 20% move to the upside so far. If we move on from that, we were also looking at XRP last week. Last week we were looking for this move down into this big range low, which not many people were looking at all, and I explained that in detail on the stream. So we're looking for a move down into that range low, into that reaction zone, where we're looking for long positions. And here's how it played out. If I just make that a little bit bigger, here's how it played out. So again, XRP from the low, 35% of a move to the upside there. So getting into those positions down at the range low, not being fearful, and 35% to the upside. Now, if you're in at protraderslounge.com, we were talking through price action the whole way through this move, so you wouldn't be left there wondering what's next. We then moved on to Altcoin, which seemed to be a real crowd favorite, where we had a fractal. We're looking for it to come into this reaction zone, with the high of the reaction zone being point of control, and then you had some levels further down to the downside, balanced out then with a really nice fractal for confluence. We got that trade, it came down, tapped that zone. Now I'll be totally transparent here, I was trading so many other assets, I didn't get this one, but there is a good few of you that did get it, and it's a nice 45% move to the upside. So you can see so far, CRO with a 20% move to the upside, SU with a 45% move to the upside, XRP with a 35% move to the upside. We also had a look at Popcat. Now Popcat, if we have a look at what we're looking at last week, we gave two scenarios. One, if we were to hold this level here, which was previous range value area high, if we were to hold that to look for a long position. And I also noted that if the stock market continues to pull back, to look down to these lower levels, down around the 10 to 11 cent mark. We got that trade, it came down into that zone, tapped that point of control, tapped the low of this channel that we've been watching for a very long time now, and we got the move. That was a whopping 145% to the upside. Really, really nice. So what I'm going to cover is, I'm going to give one trade setup this week for you to follow. Not to make it too complicated, I'm going to give you one trade setup this week. But before I do that, I just want to have a quick look over at what we were looking at on Bitcoin on last week's members Sunday Swingers Show. So I think that's important. Let's have a quick look at what we were looking at on Bitcoin. So it started off, we were mapping out this fractal on Bitcoin to come down into this RTH gap, to take out the low, come down into that RTH gap, and then we were looking for a nice impulse to the upside, which we got. It came down and tapped that nicely, which we got the low. Real nice move up to take out the local highs, and then we were looking for this pullback for a compound position to come back into that RTH gap with a nice reaction zone down here at the 886, and sure enough, we got a really nice reaction there, and that price continues to the upside. So with that said, with Bitcoin, we've sniped the low on last week's Sunday Swinger Show for our members. We also got a really nice compound position, and if you want to find out what's next for Bitcoin, we do have 5 positions left available for a discount for your first month at €99. So check out the coupon code in the description. There's only 5 places remaining from our sale last week. So 5 places remaining. They'll be whipped up fairly quickly. €99 for your first month. If you want to check out what we're looking for on Bitcoin next and the Nasdaq, make sure that you go over and get yourself a membership. €99 for a month for Pro Traders Lounge. With that said, then let's have a look at what we're looking at next. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the one trade setup I'm going to be given, or the one asset I'm going to be looking at this week. This was given by Long It from a Bong Hit, a good guy from the trading floor. That's how I got to see this one. And you know, we got a really nice move up of 90% from the first level, a nice short down of 63%, followed by a nice long position of 91%, and now our final trade, which is being 130 or 140% to the upside. So we're now up at resistance. Not only are we at resistance in terms of our channel, but we're also in resistance in terms of our volume. We're up at that value area high and rejecting from it right now. Last night I told our members, you know, to look for short positions up here, but I also gave them a heads up that there may be a further move to the upside. So right now, if you got into that trade up here, this goes for any of our members. It's very valid trade, and you will be coming down to your take profit 2 now at any point. So it's already down 10%. Okay, so we have another little bit to go in terms of our tapping that channel high. So we have another little bit to go. I'd at least like to see that channel high tapped. We also have pivots to the upside. So if we throw on our pivots, we do have some nice pivots to the upside. So I don't mind if we come up and clear them. Even if we come up and clear the woody pivot, that would be nice. And then a rejection down. So what I'm kind of looking at here for a swing short is, you know, either A, we come down, hold that area that we're just talking about, come up and take out those local highs, and then we get a sharp position, which would be a scalp to start off with. And we will build upon it with strength. You know, scalp position, make sure you have risk management in place, and then to see where it goes, you know, adding to the position only on signs of weakness to the downside. That will be, you know, idea number 1 to take us down. So it will look something like this, taking multiple profits along the way. Your first one would start off as a scalp up here and trading it down to the local range, you know, take profits here, point of control here locally, value area low, and seeing is there any strength. That would be the first setup I would look for. The other one is if we do get a big push to the upside, you know, let's say it holds here and we start to push to the upside, I would have no interest. I would leave those longs run. I would have no interest if it blows through that range high. I would leave it off to see how it reacts up at that quarterly pivot. Would I short up there? No. But what I would wait for is a reclaim back into that channel. That would be a big sign of weakness, and I would look for that short to the downside. I would trade that right back down to where it came from to take out that low. That is what I would look for here on Popcat. Some will say that's crazy, but yeah, that's what I look for. So two positions. 1, the short is already in, and we gave it last night to our members. 2, we get some, you know, local a local bit of strength to come up and take out the local highs into that range high, and we get a rejection where you'll treat it as a scalp. If we don't get that reaction at the range high, we look for it to take a sweep up, mainly up into these highs, but coming up into that quarterly pivot. You have to remember that at the start of this week, we're going to have weekly pivots down here. We're also, remember, we're at a range high. We're at a range high, so you've got to take that into context as well. We are at the range high, so, you know, you're not looking for longs up here. Okay, so multiple reasons to look for a short up here. As I said, if it blows through it and you don't see any weakness, that's fine. We're only going to look for a short on a reclaim of this range. So let's get rid of this stuff. When is this invalidated? So if it blows through, we take out that high, back test this and hold, you know, that idea is invalidated. If this is a swing short, you know, or potential of a swing short, where would you trade it to? So if we go back to our previous range levels, you know, if we do get something like this and it starts to reject here, or swings up back in and starts to reject, you know, I'll be looking back down for those levels down here, multiple levels here, here, or down, taking that low. They're the kind of targets, but taking profits along the way, they will be the main targets of what I'd look for. To strengthen this idea, I also have a fractal. So this is the fractal that I'm looking at, you know, for a potential. You can see here where it swings up above it and makes its way down. This is kind of the type of price action that I'm anticipating should we get the rejection. So a really, really nice fractal there to potentially come into play if we get the rejection. So this is the one and only I'm going to give on for this week's stream, and that is Popcat. Potential fractal in play, potential short idea, which I've given multiple scenarios for. And if we do get this, you know, if we don't get this, that's fine. We're in that long from last week, 145% to the upside. But should we get that pullback and we do get that opportunity of taking a long down here, you know, this is more so an area where I would look for, you know, a really, if we hold here with strength, a really nice swing trade to the upside, at least coming up to take out that channel again. And you're talking in terms of percentage, about 300% to the upside. So hope you enjoyed that. That is Popcat. And now I'm going to throw you over to Trader R for altcoin setup of the week. But before I pass you over to Trader R, we got to announce the winner of last week's competition. The competition was you had to guess the price of Bitcoin last week for today, an hour before Sunday Swingers show. And our winner is, well done. Contact us on X and we will drop you your free month's membership. So let's do the same for this week. To the person that can guess the price of Bitcoin this time next week at 5 p.m. UTC +1 wins a 1-month membership. You got to leave your comment below and make sure that you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you all. Now over to Trader R.
How are we doing, folks? I hope we're all doing well. Another week, another Sunday Swingers. Yeah, look, I'm not going to cover too much, but we'll go over, like we did shout out on Bitcoin where we were looking for that scam wick to be filled, 86,213. I did have it marked down wrong. You know, I didn't have the magnet on the wick, so I had it a little bit higher. But hey, what happens? It filled the wick, you know, as we always do. How many wicks have we called to be filled? And they always get filled in the right spot. It's just nice. Nice. Let's see where the next wick is. We also know there is another wick, but we're going to figure out where that stuff is inside in the lounge. But again, today, not going to go over Bitcoin, just go over that. If you want more of those updates, I will be doing lives during the week. Just follow the old Twitter and that's it. But we will be going over LTC, XRP and ETHUSD. Just kind of have to see what is going on now. Where are we at? Do you know? I know I missed last week. Where are we at? What's she looking like? We just dive right in. I haven't a clue what she's doing. So you have a nice range here, right? Nice range. TR pocket went right through it. Let's see. Do we have the extension on that? Oh, we'll flip this one around here now. Didn't hit that either. She got close to it. And if I pull from here to here, was this the TR pocket 2? I do like that other low now because of that. She went a little bit through it, but I will say I do like this. I do like this. Yeah, yes I do, mama. Right, I do like that low. Why? Because we kind of consolidated before actually hitting it. You know, it's up for grabs. That low is up for grabs right now. You know, so because it didn't hit it properly, and it usually likes to hit my TR extensions properly. You could go like this if you wanted to, and yeah, she hit. You could go like that, but for a trade wise, hard time from trade, a good area for a trade. This zone here has to be nice long opportunity for a swing failure pattern down here. I have to put it there now. She did grab that liquidity, to be fair. She did indeed. You do. Whoa, did she actually hit this? The daily we're on now, but did she hit this? The front runner. Oh my god, that's such a nice zone. I have to leave it like that, to be fair. I do indeed. It's a nice zone. So this area I would be looking for a long, and for a short I would actually have to be saying higher time frame wise now. I would actually be this high up here. This high up here would be nice. And we go like this. Get rid of this. Yeah. Lovely, lovely area. So, it's so nice owl area there. I will say just above the highs. Grab that liquidity. So that is going to be a nice short zone for me. Two solid areas, like, you know, you can't go wrong. You can't really go wrong. If you get a swing failure pattern up here, or if you get a swing failure pattern there, like, it's a trade. It is a trade indeed. Let me go on to the yoke here. We'll have to hit this. We have pivots, probably all filled, but I want to check them all anyway. Weekly pivots, they're already done. Monthly pivots are actually hanging up to the upside, so we do have some, what's the word, magnetism, is that even a word, to the top side. So bit of a pull there. Quarterly pivots, okay, quarterly pivots are in my zone, so that's a big level, folks. That is a big level. We do have quarterly pivots sitting right on that now. You need to really mark that one in. Maybe mark in the quarterly pivots. Did they get tapped? No, they didn't. So the quarterly pivots are sitting on that zone, so this is a nice area. So what way would we be going about this? The ideal way, right? The ideal thing to happen here is, like, I'm not in a trade in LTC, right? Would I get into a trade? I would, if she did this. I don't think this will happen. Well, I might. It might. That's the ideal thing, you know. That's the perfect way you want to go about this. She comes down, swing fails that low. You got a long into this high. That is a blatant long into that high because it's quarterly pivot as a target. So that's the way I'd like to see it. I don't know, will this actually happen? Bitcoin would actually have to come down again. She could. Look at Bitcoin. You could maybe get something, like, for that to happen on LTC, maybe Bitcoin would have to, I don't know, maybe it would have to come down higher low, you know, maybe move up then. Then this comes down, spikes that low one more time. That'd be class. That would be class. But if that doesn't happen, if that low doesn't actually come, well then, we have that short region up here, and I will be keeping an eye on that. I'm going to put alert on this one, and I'm going to put alert down here. Two nice zones, lovely demand down here. That really makes that one, to be honest. But this is a swing failure with the quarterly pivot, so both equal to me, both nice areas. We'll see what kind of trade comes on during the week, and we'll see what we get. XRP, alright, if you remember XRP, I was looking for one of the zones here. I think it was this high. Alright, we'll have to fix this. But we were looking at descending triangle, right? We were looking at this descending triangle since fucking here was put in. And we got this low, and then we were looking for a short play above this high. We never got that. Unfortunately, we never got that. And then we get a little bit of a dip down, fake out a triangle, and now she's kind of looking for a bit of a move up. Maybe she gets this area now. So what would be nice is if we have some kind of TR pocket or TR extension sitting up there. That always makes it nicer. Right, hold on there a second now, folks. We've got some technical issues. Not really. Log. Whew. I love it. Ah, that's nice. That is nice. Do I need a triangle here anymore? Because it's on log. It looks weird, but I'll put it in anyway. I don't really need this triangle. It's played as toll now. No, it's played as toll, so don't really need it. We have a nice area here. I like this. Don't know will it happen. You know, when are we going to get it? But fucking higher time from trades. Like, I'm just thinking, this is a nice area. Oh, this is a nice area. I should have foreseen. Well, I wasn't on the last Sunday swingers, so couldn't give out anything. But I would have give out that short, and don't know would I give out the long down here. You know, I don't know if I would have looked into that. But did it hit a TR pocket or anything like that? Yeah, this is on my mind. Where's the TR pocket? She did. She came into the TR pocket. And up. Nice. But hey, we're looking at the next trade. Next fucking trade this week, or the next in the next month. Maybe we hopefully we'll see. Get that in there now. Nice. I'd love to be able to get the demand of this high, but this was a very big spike if I remember, so I don't know the supply of this high, if I meant to say, but I don't know if I can. There is something there. There is this. So we'll have a look and see. How is that looking? That looks very nice. Very clean actually. Perfect. Nice supply. Nice supply in that zone. So we have a short play in our hands on XRP. Fix all the overlaying a bit here now. And then we got this. Boom, boom, boom. Liquidity. Bit of a liquidity trade. So we'll see what happens, folks. But I will be looking for a short up here on XRP. Send this to the back. There we go. Perfect. We got LTC. We got XRP. What is going on with ETH? USD. If you remember, we had a higher time from zone. We were looking at the TR extension down here, and the liquidity on the old supply turned into a demand, and we came down. Nice wick on the weekly candle here. I think it was, I don't know how much percent this was now, but nice 12-17% move off of that. As you see, I have a bit of a curve here. We have a bit of a curve being in development over here. So she has fixed it. She kind of did break it there now. She could be looking at something. Usually when you break a curve, you higher low, deep higher low before you break out of it. So you kind of did it there already. You deep higher low and you kind of moved out. But what's stopping it from doing a higher time frame move out and then move up? So we'll be keeping an eye on this. I was saying in the group I was looking for a swing failure on this move here, and we did get it. But right now it's a tough one. I'm not going to come in here and say I know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen next on this one. Like for a trade, for a trade, no. You probably have your quarterly pivots above, so you're going to be looking at probably a hard time from long, monthly. It could be happening this month, so you know. So I kind of want to get like a decent long opportunity, but with this price action down here, it's kind of hard to find one. You know, find one. We're a big higher time frame. Maybe it comes does. This would be lovely if it did that. Just down, retest that TR extension. You know, like it did here. Retest it again into that zone, but don't take the low, and then we go down. Perfect. That would be perfect. And just out of curiosity, if we did do this, would the TR pocket be on the higher low, or would it be okay sitting right there? This one's a bit messy, folks, I know. So I'm gonna actually have to shut down all of this here. Just get rid of all this. We'll just go off the lower time frame. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to be looking for a short because the pivots are fairly high. So if we can get something like this, we already know TR extension is down there, but do we have a lower time from confluence for this to actually give us a nice decent opportunity? We do. You have this demand down here that has not been touched, right? You had it here, I won't count that. It has not been touched, so this is going to be an actual fairly decent level. She'd want to hold this if she drops down here, and if you get a decent reaction off it, you know, I'm going to probably look for that trade along as well. That is nice. Okay, it probably won't happen like that. Maybe it might happen in, oh, it's going to happen. Wait, so we had move up, maybe 3-wave. She might go up like and take these highs here and then maybe down. But overall, this whole zone down here is going to be the area I will be looking at on ETH, right? This area I will be looking at ETH. Hopefully it takes that high. I will say it will be a nicer trade if it takes that high. You know, a bit of a decent move up then, you know, and you can put in a top. Maybe you get that short opportunity. Can we get a confidence for that? We fucking can. Yeah, we can. So you might actually have a short into a long here. Hold on. We might actually have a short into long. We're on log, linear. Wait, hold on. Linear. Okay, this goes down a bit lower. Make this green. Right, and then we go log. Right, I have to leave it on the demand because you just don't know. Sometimes it might just run off that demand. But the ideal thing here is, yeah, okay, we'll leave it like. Ideal thing here is if we take the high, swing failure pattern, and then we move down into a higher low. that would be a swing long then. Let's see what happens, folks. Let's see what happens. You know, like, I do get things wrong. You know, I do get things wrong. But so far on these swingers, when I give out a level and it hits the area that I'm looking at, it usually gives a decent trade. So let's see. Hopefully this week we get these decent trades, you know. Yeah. And make sure you look at the description below for the promotion on this time. And as well, that's really it on my side. Like, comment, share, everything you gotta do. And I'll see you the next day. Catch you all on Twitter, and I'll catch you all in the lounge. Good luck, folks. Adios.